All right, everybody, welcome back to the Heath Barn. Happy 4th of July to everyone out there. Hope we're having a fun and safe holiday. As promised, this is part 2 of my interview with Jay Delsing. Hopefully the audio will come out better. That part 1, like I said, I just talk louder than him, but it's still a great listen if you can go through and listen to it. But this is part 2. This was a lot of fun because I went through and several of my buddies sent me texts asking, I sent them a text, like if you could ask a pro golfer anything, what would you ask him? Several of them sent me texts back, so we go through those, and I ask him all these questions, and he answers them in a great way. He's funny, and when he gives stories, we even talk about the Cardinals a little bit, but this was a couple weeks ago when we were talking, so they've done better since then, but he gives great advice. So even whether you're one of my buddies, if you're one of my buddies, you better listen because I did this for you guys. Even if you're not, you should listen to it if you like to golf because he goes off on these, great explanations and everything like that, and gives great advice. Really knows what he's talking about, but he does it in a very entertaining way, and he's real funny, really funny. So thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoy part 2 with professional golfer Jay Delsing, and heard it.
Well, hey, do you mind? Okay, I'm trash at golf basically. Like I have good hand-eye, and if I just go out there and I got buddies who'll play. I'll get a scramble. I can't drive, can't putt.
Beers and hit something. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but my in-between stuff. If I played regularly, it isn't bad. I won at Top Golf, a couple years ago, so whatever. Yeah, but so what I did was I texted a few of my buddies who play regularly, and I said, if you could ask a pro golfer anything to help that you think would help with your game, what would you ask them? And a few of them texted me back. So do you care if I ask you a couple of things? Okay, hang on here. Let me make sure I don't screw this up here.
You need to listen to my show. You're guaranteed to screw something up. When Mickelson won the PGA Championship, at 50 years old, 51, whatever, and I said something like, this is Phil's whatever, victory, 40s, and I got it wrong. And I don't really care. And I got all these emails, and I'm like, guys, save your energy. The only people that give a damn about how many wins Phil has is Phil.
Right, yeah.
Probably his wife, but I'm not exactly sure anymore. So don't worry, we don't care.
Okay, here's one of my buddies. Let's see here. He said, if he saw me swing, I'd ask, what is the first thing that you see that I'm doing wrong? But if it's just obviously you're not going to see him swing. So he said, if it's just a question, I'd ask, what is the main thing that you focus on during your swing? That one's kind of a broad. I have other ones that are better and more specific than that, but.
No, that's fine. I mean, you can ask me anything you want. Here's the thing. All you guys think way too much. I even asked Tiger, I said, okay, dude, you missed every damn fairway today, and you're coming down the stretch, and then you wind up piping it down 18 and hit it on the green and either make a par or birdie and win the tournament. And I'm like, are you thinking? He's like, I'm not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to feel the shot that I want to hit, and I'm into my target. I'm into where, not how. And all you guys are into how.
Yeah, gotcha.
Think about this. I mean, there's certain mechanics that have to, and that's why we spend so much time on the driving range. But man, you've got to, in order to try to perform, you've got one chance. You've got to pull this thing off, and so you need athleticism, and you need to try to figure out a mental state that puts you in the best chance to play well. If you're a bricklayer, I'd say try as hard as you can. But like if you're a really good golfer, we don't want you trying as hard as you can. That's the kind of blue collar mentality that I grew up with, and it was like, oh, it's okay if you jack this up or you mess up as long as you try as hard as you can. That's wrong.
Yeah.
That will only get you failure. You've got to try to. Michael Jordan was not trying as hard as he can. He was trying to figure out how a way to relax so that he could play.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, along those, here's one of my buddies, and I'll guarantee you, he overthinks stuff. I'll go ahead and read it, though. It says, what's his best advice for a bogey golfer to improve a few strokes? And then he put, golf is such a mental game. Is there anything he does outside the course he's found that helps stay calm and consistent while playing?
Yeah.
And then then he keeps going. Like I said, he overthinks it. And then he said, does he have a specific swing thought or pre-shot routine, and does it change depending on which club he's hitting?
Every single person that's ever been good at golf, that's ever played on the PGA Tour, has a pre-shot routine, and it never varies, ever.
Gotcha.
Ever. So now you might go in, you might, like what Bryson DeChambeau did with his second shot on 18. He had to assess the situation, do all this crazy stuff, but by the time he decided what he was going to do and get in there, he stuck to his pre-shot routine as much as he possibly could. So there's a timing to that thing, John, and we time them. We want them on the second. We don't want it. So what Brad Faxon said about Rory's miss at 16, he said it looked like he stood over it for a tick longer.
Yeah.
Meaning, when we're timing this stuff, if you're normally at 10 and you don't have that trigger pulled by 9.5 or 10.5 seconds down to that much, then it's a miss, and it's a mental miss. So the reason you have pre-shot routines is that's what you think about. That's what you focus your attention on. Not any of this other stuff. The other stuff is all distraction. Now, how do you stay calm? You've got to get into the processes of doing all of this stuff, and let the processes it sounds super simple. It is really hard because, well, yeah, how do you not worry about the water on the left? How do you not worry about the OB on the right? You have to say to yourself, I might hit it in the water. I might hit it out of bounds. I might hit it anywhere. I don't know. But I'm not going to do it because I'm fearful.
Right.
Meaning, how many times have you stood up on a hole, John, and go, oh, man, I'm sure as hell not going to hit this left. And then you hit it right, and it didn't matter.
Right, yeah.
It's still shitty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's not, you need to stay focused on what it is you want and away from the results. And that is incredibly difficult to do. Rory needed to go through his pre-shot routine and into his target and putt that last putt just like he's playing me for $50.
Right.
And I'm sure he was trying to do it. But John, that putt, it's only 3 foot 6 inches long. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's downhill. It's faster than your hardwood floor, and it breaks. It's tilted.
Right.
And it's the last shot of the day, hopefully.
Yeah.
Think about that. If you miss on Saturday, you always go, I've got tomorrow. When Sunday comes, that's where you've got to get your mind right, because there is no tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, those two putts of his, those were rough.
Yeah, so now if you want to get better at your game, and this is anybody, but especially, first of all, you've got to eliminate three putting. You've got to try to figure out how to get good putting from 40 and 50 feet from the hole, because that's usually what high handicappers, where they're putting from.
Yeah.
Okay? And you've got to figure that out. So work on your lag putting, work on your short putting. Then go from the green out. Start working on your chips and your pitches. The closer you can, so for a bogey golfer, no two chips. I'm gonna get this thing on the green. I'm gonna get this thing, and how do I focus on getting it on the green? Trying to hit it in the hole. Don't try to just hit it on the green, because then if you miss, you're going to miss the green. Try to chip the thing in the hole.
Yeah.
An archer never loses focus on the target, because the smaller the target you have, John, the smaller your dispersion. So a professional golfer is picking out a target on every single shot, every single swing, and it's a specific target. It's not an area; it's a specific target. And he is focused on that and getting his ball to go there.
Right.
But you got to figure out if you have a big miss, say with your driver, you got to figure that out. Like every third swing, your ball goes 50 yards right, you can't play.
Yeah.
You got to make one swing only count for one stroke. So don't hit that thing out of play.
Yeah.
You can hit it in the trees, that happens. Don't hit it in the water, don't hit it out of bounds. That's one stroke, and it's costing you more than one more than one pop. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then if you could focus on 100 yards in, that's where you're going. That's where for a bogey golfer, that's where he's going to hit 70% of his shots. The green and all of his wedges. Just get really. Everybody wants to work on their driver, and again, if you can't hit it off the tee so that you're losing a ball every third shot, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But what you want to try to do is figure out how to save strokes, eliminate three putting, get good on your lag putting, get good on your short putting, and figure out your wedges. Don't jack these wedges up and miss greens and stuff. Let them hit them on the green and then make a putt.
Yeah. Very good, very good. All right, this one's kind of along those lines. This guy said, should I work on being able to draw or fade the ball as a mid-level handicap, or just worry about solid contact and playing it straight? And then he said, I know I've been in positions where I think being able to work a shot would help, but usually get myself in more trouble trying it.
Okay, well, he answered his own question.
Yeah.
The straight shot is the hardest shot in golf to hit.
Yeah.
What I would try to recommend is try to get really proficient at one or the other and not worry about the one. Like if it's easier to hit a fade, for most people, for most amps, it's way easier to hit fades. Way easier, because it's easier to hold the club face off a little bit and get the ball to be blocked than it is to release the club squarely or, a little bit sooner and hit that draw. I mean, 99.9% of all amateurs I play with, John, all hit fades or slices.
Yeah.
There are very few amateurs that can turn the ball over. It's really, really super hard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
yeah.
what I would say. I'd say screw trying to figure out, working it both ways. Let's get into doing one thing and do it well.
Right. For sure. Okay. Couple more here if you're good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
This one, he said I would probably ask how to get backspin on wedges on approach shots.
Okay, so don't worry about back. First of all, there's a giant misnomer out there that everybody thinks tour players love spin. We love to be able to control the ball. And if the ball's going to rip back off the green, we hate that. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget when Nick Price was one of the dominant players in my era. And won 3 or 4 major championships, and they came out with a new ball, and it didn't spin nearly. It was so much easier to take the spin off of it. And I remember playing a practice round with him, and he said, "This has just made it so much easier to not have to worry about that ball, juicing back off the green." And you'd be surprised that the biggest question I get is, how do I get longer off the tee? And the next one is, I want to be able to make my ball spin back 10 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't worry about the second one. So what you need to do is you need to worry more about your angle of attack, and you need to be shallow with your wedges and not steep. And it's the exact opposite. I see amateurs pounding down on that ball, thinking that that's what's going to put spin on it, and it's not. It's coming more around in more of a circle, and then you use the bounce. The bounce is the key to putting spin on the ball. But all you really want to do is for your guys. I've never been a massive spinner of the ball, not a ton.
Yeah.
But for guys that have, they're always trying to figure out how to get it to spin the amount that they want. And for most of these young kids that hit this thing massively high, massively hard, they get back pins on greens, John, and they're trying to land the ball in the back fringe so it spins towards the hole, and that's not the way to play golf.
Yeah.
You got to land that ball in the front of the green and skip it back there. So the spin thing, just get the correct ball position with your wedge, which is usually a little further back in your stance than your other clubs, and work on trying to stay shallow. The more solidly that you hit your wedges, the more that they'll spin naturally.
Gotcha. Okay, and then maybe one more here. There's just, because about 3 of them said this, so it must be. I think we got some guys, biggest tip on avoiding three putting holes.
Yeah, so it's, first of all, you never try to lag. You are trying to hold your putt, no matter how long, 50, 60, 80 feet. Whoever came up with, gosh, I hope I can get it in that 3-foot circle, was a shitty putter. It's 3-putted all the time. Mm-hmm. Because, look, you're not going to hold very many long ones, but again, it's all about your mind. You don't want, a smaller target gives you a smaller miss. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like, so the way to do it is to practice your speed, use your feel. Here's a couple drills that are great for that. Get out there, do your routine, get yourself a pre-shot routine. Right before you're getting ready to hit the ball, before you draw the putter back, do one of two things. Either close your eyes, which will completely freak you out, or look at the hole, like Jordan Spieth does, which is hard to do as well. Then hit the putt. But both of those things, John, they take your brain out of it, and it kind of sends you into a mild freak out, and all you have left is feel.
Yeah.
And so you're going to feel where you hit the ball on the putter. You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked what you can. And so that's a really good way to develop feel. And then putt, practice from 40 feet and out. Practice 30-footers from, practice them uphill, practice them downhill, side hill, all that stuff. And then also use this drill to get better on your short putts. It's called the clock drill. You take 3 or 4 balls, and I'll say for amateurs, let's just start at 2 feet from the hole. Take 4 balls, put them 2 feet around the hole. You got to hole all 4 of those. 2-footer, no problem. Knock all 4 of those in. Then you move to 3 feet. You put those around the hole, and you knock all of those in. And you go to 4 feet. And this drill that helps you with your short putting. But, huge caveat, if you miss, you got to start over.
Yeah.
What's great about this drill, John, is it puts pressure on you. You develop concentration, and you develop confidence. So just tell yourself, man, I am not going home until I knock every one of these balls in, and then see how long it takes you. And as soon as you miss that first one, you're pissed.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's pressure on you, and then you're like, I might not be home for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a super cool drill. All the tour players use it. It's a great way to practice with pressure on you.
Right. Very, very good. Man, they're gonna love all this, man. And the only other thing a couple of them said was just like controlling the mental side of the game, things like that. But I think
Have
that's.
you ever read Bob Rotell's books? Go.
What is it called?
Those are really, really good, really simple. I think I got a chapter in one of those books. I think I said modern psychology back about 100 years. The bullshit stuff that I was trying to figure out with my brain. They really are. They're extreme. They're anecdotal, and there's tour players telling stories and things like that. They'll really enjoy it. You can get them on Amazon or anything like that. But for guys that love golf, that'll definitely help you. They're very light too and easy to read.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, this has been amazing, man. Great stories and great advice, and yeah, I'm really glad we did this. So, well,
can I give my show a plug?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, go ahead, absolutely.
Okay, it's Golf with Jay Delsing. I don't know if you guys get 101 ESPN over in Southern Illinois. I've heard you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. I drop it as a podcast. It's aired on Sunday mornings from 8 o'clock to 10. I drop it as a podcast, and as of July 6th, the show will be in 48 different stations in 42 different cities, and I get some great guests. I just had Jim Nance on. I just had Barbara Nicholas on. I just had, guys, did you know that Jack and Barbara Nicholas, between the two of them, since 2004, have raised about $300 million
Jeez.
For children's charities?
That's amazing.
And you know what's quite crazy about that, John? It's one of those deals where you hope, you said you're a dad, and happy belated Father's Day, but
Thank
you
you.
hope you never need it.
Right.
It's unbelievable if you do, but you really hope that you and I are never stepping foot in the children's hospitals, man. It's brutal.
Right, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
that's what sort of powerhouse they are. So we get really good guests on. I got Annika Sorenstam coming on. I got Max Homa coming on. I got Amanda Bolionis coming on. I got a bunch of good friends. Plus, just some of the usual suspects, Faraday, and so we get Faraday drops F-bombs and goes, "You're cable, right?"
After he drops about 10, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm cable. Just go ahead, keep going, David. It's all good.
Because I have the 101 ESPN app, and so I've listened to some. Danny Max on there with you, right, a lot of times.
Yeah, right. He's unbelievable. 4-time Emmy Award winner, and just just a great guy, and we got to get him back in the broadcast booth, and hopefully that's coming soon too.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, yeah, man, the Cardinals are just kind of in. These poor guys are just in disarray, man. I don't know what they're thinking, but it is weird. It's weird to be a Cardinal fan right now.
It is, but we went down there a couple weekends ago, and I think that they're at 500. What's funny, they're at 500, and now if the season ended today, they'd be in that last playoff spot because there's like 9 teams within 2.5 games, and none of them they're either like 4 games below 500 all the way to 500. So there's so much. I don't know if you want to call it mediocrity or parity, whatever, but either way, it's pretty.
Have you ever seen such bad baseball?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, just forget the Cardinals. I mean, it's like, okay, we don't care if you strike out 40% of the time if you can hit 25 home runs.
Oh, I know.
I mean, John, the way I was taught, like Matt Carpenter would stand up there, we're two runs down in the bottom of the ninth, and he's leading off, and that's before they put the shift on.
Yeah.
And my dad would have literally pulled me out of a baseball game if I didn't drop a bunt down third base and get on, because even if I hit a home run, we don't win.
Oh, I know.
He's over there swinging it for the fences, and I'm like, dude, you wouldn't play if I was managing.
Right.
You would be out.
Oh, I know.
I just don't, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes.
Do you want to win, or do you want to make your stat?
Yeah, do you want the tying run on base, or do you want to go up there and...
Get the tying run on, man.
Yeah.
The whole thing that I was taught is it's a bloop and a blast.
That's right, yeah.
If you don't have a bloop, you don't win.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing too. All the analytic. I mean, that's just a whole other conversation. But some of these younger kids too, like Jordan Walker. He's so athletically gifted. Just stop thinking so much and just see.
Don't screw him up.
Yeah.
He can't play. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, just see the ball hit the ball. It's just let your talent take over, and don't. When he's got 100 things going through his mind and launch angle, and I got to do this, and just let him just let him hit. Just leave him.
John, I had Mark McGuire on the show.
Yeah.
And you should listen to that if you like see-ball, hit-ball, because he talked about Jay's see-ball, hit-ball. And he talks about how Tiger Woods kicked his ass in the gym.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's like, yep. We went in there and we were doing, I forget what it was, push-ups and all this other stuff. I don't know. And it was incredible. And none of it makes any sense to me, man. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with all that. I mean, I get chicks dig the long ball and all that, because that's what we're selling in golf. It's all about, bombing it, gouging it, and making birdies and shooting 20 under par.
Right.
But some of the guests, I got to tell you what's interesting is all of the old-time guests that I have on all talk about making sure your kids play every sport.
Right.
Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, Curtis, all of them said, make sure you play every sport. Because once you start focusing, it is so easy to get burned out.
Oh yes, definitely, absolutely. Well, they need to play team sports, individual sports. The more. Yeah, you learn so many valuable life lessons playing sports that don't restrict yourself to one thing, and that's what a lot of these parents are doing with their kids. And by the time they're 13, 14, they don't even like it anymore, so.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, John, if for your buddies, Jay at JayDelsingGolf.com, we have a section on the show every week called the mailbag.
Okay.
Dude, I get so many questions. So if anybody wants to send them to me, and we get through them one way or the other.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure they'll listen to this, and then so they'll know. But yeah, I'm glad that you. I've listened to your pod before, and I know you like to answer those kinds of questions. So I thought I'd reach out to them, guys that take a little more seriously, play a little more often than me, and that would have better questions than I would. So yeah, that worked out great. That was awesome. But
yeah, we're trying to grow the game. That's my bag. We're trying to grow the game and tell stories to teach people how to hit a damn 5-iron over the ring. That's not going to grow the game.
Right. Yes, exactly.
We can talk about different stuff, but we got to tell stories and make it interesting. And but that's why you have your local PGA professionals to help, because it's way too hard.
Right. Definitely. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. This was great, very entertaining. I appreciate it.
Good.
And yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and stop this recording, and then stop recording, but then I'll go ahead and shout out you here before we're done. But my son, I say this every time, but my son was in kindergarten when I started this, and I told him I needed a closing line, so he just clapped his hands and said, why don't you just clap your hands and say that's that? So that's what I do at the end of these. So thank you very, very much, Jay Delsing, and that's that.